Ian, great to see you. Great to have you here. I will just coming in, just having my last sip of water. Peace. Great to have you. I won't go into any question and answer thing right now because I have the advantage of talking. You have the disadvantage for having to type your answers, but I'm hoping the meditation practice is going strong, kick-started. That would be great. Okay. Hey, I don't know if I showed off the new shirt, the new logo. I'm really kind of happy with it. So, Tantra Yoga Alchemy. I'm happy. It's good. All right, we'll start in a few minutes. Let me grab one more thing. Yep. Awesome. That's what I like hearing. Perfect. My sense is now it'll there's this potential for it to be stronger than it ever would have been the first time around, if you understand what I mean. So yeah, in fact, I feel very confident about that. Oh man, I'm a little far away, but let me check out what you're saying here. Okay, good. Oh, okay. On the website really soon. Really soon. They just happened 2 days ago, something like that. So, website really soon. Or come to Colorado. I'll be there in Colorado and I'm going to have some. Yeah. Turned out, you have an image in your mind. You don't always know when it comes to materializing what's going to happen. Okay. Welcome, everyone. So, calm and rest. My intention with this practice was to provide you with something that would be particularly useful to help you sleep. This is a epidemic. It's so pervasive, this whole sleep issue, and it's we won't get into the whys so much now. This is really the how. But I also want to point out this is a practice that you can do during the day. It can be really the last thing you do right before sleep. It can be before dinner or any time during the day or even in the morning. The truth is that when you start to stimulate your parasympathetic nervous system this way, you're just simply less reactive, more steady, more calm, more restful, even in the midst of action. Okay, so we can jump right into it. I'm going to have you, I think the simplest thing, and I've been back and forth on this, let's go ahead and do it on our back. The same breathing that I'm going to guide you through can be done on your stomach. And let me show you that position. But the disadvantage is if you're feeling a little anxious, or you may not even be aware you're anxious, it may be below the surface, that I find that this can be actually a little challenging to deal with that. So the practice I'm going to lead can be done either on your stomach like this. And what I do to kind of ensure that I have as much diaphragmatic freedom as possible or movement, I want my upper front ribs to be off the floor. So I'm in this very subtle back bend. The challenge is if I put my head down, more and more ribs will come down onto the floor. So what I'd like to do is just create a fist or two and rest my forehead on my hands. Keep in mind your elbows are a little, almost practically under your shoulders. If they get too far out there, then you're going to lay flat on your chest, and that's going to inhibit your breathing. And then you just settle there. Okay, so that's a more powerful position to do it in, but as I said, it can actually be anxiety or anxious provoking. So the other option is just to do it on your back. And for that approach, I'm going to suggest your knees are bent, your feet on the floor. For this practice, by the way, if you want, you can have a bolster nearby. You can work with a strap as well. This work, if you are going to be on your back, you can either place something weighted on your abdomen, or if you don't have the option of doing that, you can just work with the hands. Okay, so right hand more or less in the space between the pubic bone and the navel. The left hand just below your solar plexus on your abdomen. Close your eyes. So whichever position you're in, I'm just going to explain. I'm going to guide you through this practice. It's going to take us about 4 minutes. So just close your eyes and begin to direct your attention to the soft rise and fall of the abdomen. Now, depending on what you've come from just prior to starting the practice, this may be easier said than done. You might find your breath a little rapid, balanced. You might find the mind distracted. Just for the time being, begin to anchor the mind to the rise and the fall of the abdomen. 1 minute. Just witnessing the movement, not trying to shape it. So you might begin to very quickly notice that the breath is irregular or rushed. You might notice that the chest is moving more than the abdomen. Have the intention to relax more and more completely. So the chest is still, the abdomen soft. Now please, breathing through your nostrils with an emphasis of the breath at the nasopharynx between the sinuses and the throat. Inhale more or less for a count of 6, 5 or 6. Exhale for the same length. Again, the chest hardly moves. And your intention is to expand, direct the breath toward the pelvis. Obviously, the breath doesn't move into the pelvis, but the awareness or the feeling riding on the breath does. Emphasize a gentle filling of the lower lungs. Five or six count inhale, 5 or 6 count exhale. You can watch it, feel it, and then deep with your inner ear, you listen to the current of the breath. 2 more minutes, please. This even, smooth, continuous breath predominates, even if your mind wants to wander. You hold it steady. Absorbed in awareness of consciously shaping the breath. purpose of the practice, you can remind yourself that the intention is to enter into restfulness. An ideal rhythm for calm in the midst of life or entry into deep sleep. A few more rounds, please. Notice how the breath is beginning to settle. Filling the pelvic bowl. You may start to experience what the yogis discovered, which was to master the breath gives us access to mastering the movement of mind. Relax. Draw your thighs toward your chest. Put one hand on each shin bone, just below the kneecaps. Now exhale just the right thigh into the chest and softly turn your chin to the left. Inhale both thighs away, and then exhale left thigh in. Turn your chin to the right. And both thighs away. Both thighs into the chest. Still the same breath. Inhale as the thighs move away, the belly softly expands. The whole sequence again, please. Right thigh in. Both thighs away, inhaling head to center. Left thigh in and bringing it closer toward your breastbone, so closer toward the central line of the upper body. Both thighs away, both thighs in. And both thighs stay in. Inhale, exhale through your mouth. Lift your chin, drawing your chin toward your breastbone. Pull your forehead toward your knees. Keep the head lifted for a couple more breaths. Now breathing through the mouth. Just exhale is through the mouth. Inhale through the nostrils. One more breath. Release the head back. Remember, you're directing the mind and the body to return to restfulness. From there, drop your arms out to the side, cross-like, and so they're perpendicular to your spine. Drop the knees close to the left elbow as you come over. Relax. The breath remains a constant. In 5, out 5. Keep letting go. At one time, as I was doing this kind of approach to practice, probably preparing myself for rest or sleep, I realized that the more I let go, the more I was supported. Continue with diaphragmatic abdominal breathing. The mind is becoming more steady, the body softer. more you let go, the more you are supported. Slowly, please, come back up. Knees to center. Drop the knees to the opposite side. Relax. As you follow the practice, the actual techniques, the intention behind them is consistent. Prepare for sleep or restful alertness. So if your knees are to the right, you can turn your chin to the left or just keep the head in the center. Let go of the legacy of the day. The spinning of the mind. The imprinting of it on the body. Back to center again, please. Okay, from here I'm going to invite you to slowly place your feet on the floor, pause. And now we'll slowly come up to fours. So up on fours. We use this movement a lot just because it's such a holistic movement for the spine, activating all four curves or sections of the spine. So in this position, soft inhale, chin rises. Remember, it's mostly into the abdomen. Exhale, go back. Diaphragmatic abdominal, the abdomen softly contracts. As you bow the head to the heart, soften, quieten the intellect. So repeat that, but let's time the exhalation. 5 count exhale this time. Navel gently moving toward the back body. And then we're going to do a 6 count exhale. And then 7, and then 8. Just do the best you can. Again, the head, the intellect is bowing to the heart. And 8 count exhale. Stay there, rest. Now, as you rest, with the movement of the abdomen restricted, you're breathing into your lower back. It's still diaphragmatic abdominal breathing. If you notice the breath moving into your upper back or chest, please stop and just instead more slowly draw the breath and fill the lower back, fill the abdomen. If you can, at a minimum of 5 or 6 count exhalation. Again, it's a short practice to lead you into deep rest, restfulness, or even sleep. Two more rounds. So you might notice the floating ribs, the lowest ribs on the back, softly expand. But as soon as the breath starts to push up into the chest, go ahead and start your exhale. Okay, please relax from there. I'm going to again ask you to sit up and this time turn around again and lie onto your back. Now, if your hamstrings are not as flexible, this is where a strap or something like that, even a sock or a thin towel would come in handy. Start with both knees in the bent and the feet on the floor, hip distance apart. So I would, again, if there's limitation in the hamstring, strap goes around the ball of the foot. I hold the strap, the two sides of the strap, one in each hand. And I just find a place where perhaps the knee can straighten, the foot is flexed. If the knee is straight, whether you're holding a strap or you're just holding your big toe, you can now begin to straighten the opposite leg. Okay, so we're working directly into the sciatic, which along the vagus nerve, this is the kind of the largest nerve of the body, triggers the sympathetic, the sympathetic nervous system to kind of quieten down. Now, can you maintain the same breathing that you established early on? As the back of the leg and perhaps a little bit of the lower back releases, notice how you hold your neck and shoulders. Even the muscles that bind the skull to the neck, below the ears, facial muscles, soften and relax. As you continue to shape the breath consciously this way, you are sending a signal to the nervous system and gradually to the mind to turn inward and to let go. To resume a rhythm of deep rest. From here now, take the two sides of the strap, if you are using the strap or still holding your big toe, and take the leg, please, out to the side. So just demonstrate that. Take the leg out to the side wide. Ideally, the opposite leg is straight. And take the same arm, not the leg that's out to the side, so that would be your right leg, your left arm, I believe. Your left arm goes over your head. As if the breath now physically is diaphragmatic, but as if the breath is reaching toward the heels, the soles of the feet, the front and back body, the sides. And you relax your shoulders, your face. Each exhalation is an opportunity to let go, to be supported. So what are you holding on to? Along the inner thighs, the pelvic floor, the low back, the groins. Good. Now let's come back up. Bend both knees for a moment. Pause. And tune into a rhythm of rest. I invite you to do the same thing on the other side. Whether you're using the strap or not, entirely up to you. It's preferable, though, that the knee is straight, so it's ideal that you are holding it, while at the same time, the upper spine, neck are long. So if I'm real tight, what will start to happen is the chin will get thrust up and the upper spine will shorten. So just do the best you can here. If possible, now again, the leg is straight, then you would straighten the opposite leg once it is. Now, as soon as that stretch deepens into my hamstring, there's a tendency to tighten around the jaw, the base of the skull. the shoulders, the neck. Even a tendency to lose track of diaphragmatic abdominal breathing, in 5 or 6, out 5 or 6. We have to have a way of communicating to the nervous system that it is appropriate and necessary to rest deeply, turn away from the worldly momentums and content. So now when you're ready, take the leg out to the side again. Perhaps the opposite arm goes overhead. And while your breath remains more localized, very intentional, diaphragmatic breathing, very little movement in the chest, the overall sense of release is pervasive. Wherever there's holding, you exercise discernment in order to let go. Then slowly let's come back up. Relax both feet on the floor. Just release the strap. Take a moment to notice the rhythm. The rhythm of mind, the rhythm of breath, and the rhythm of rest. Please bring both arms by your side. Bridge pose dynamically. You're going to inhale and push your hips up. With it, the arms go overhead. And then exhale very slowly, bone by bone. When I say very slowly, I mean again, still in that 5 rhythm or so, 5 count exhalation. Let's do that again, 5 count exhalation. Inhale to your highest point, bridge pose, and then exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let's repeat that. And as you remember earlier, we lengthen the exhale by a count on each successful repetition. So 6 count exhalation, come down. Your breath rhythm communicates to your mind. It really dictates the rhythm of mind. 7 count exhale. To slow your breath is an opportunity to slow your mind. So 7 and then an 8 count exhale. Fantastic. And just pause now. Okay, I'm going to ask you to keep the feet on the floor, but now shift the hips out to the right a few, 3-4 inches. Straighten your left leg on the floor. Put your right foot on your left thigh and take the leg across the body into a simple lying twist. If it's helpful, you want to deepen it, you can go ahead and put your left hand on the outer right thigh. Head looks up or possibly turns to the right. As you soften the musculature, you are releasing the legacy, the physical memory of tension, restriction. Good. Please slowly release. Come back to center. Shift the hips. Take them out to the opposite side. Right leg out on the floor. Left knee's bent. It goes across the body. Breathe, stay, hold. Breathe comfortably. Okay, now come back to center. Okay, so you adjust there. Now the final practice is breathing. And I'm going to be guiding you through a practice with 4, even 5 stages in it. You can do it either lying on your back or seated. Completely up to you. It can be done either way, whichever you prefer. If you are going to be sitting, you can do it in a chair. That's fine. Or you can do it in a seated position, cross-legged seat, whatnot. The important thing is your spine is tall. And the important thing is that you won't have to move for about 5 minutes. So if you can sit for 5 minutes, great. Otherwise, just do it on your back. Okay. So close your eyes. Relax just for a moment, voluntary breathing. Just feel or sense awareness anchored at the abdomen. And here you have the experience that these 3 domains meet: your physical body, your breath, and your mind. Now please begin to deepen your breath. In 4 counts, out 8. You're breathing through the nostrils preferably. If you need to exhale through the mouth, you can. In 4, out 8, a couple more rounds. Now, as I begin to extend the pattern of the breath, just continue only to the extent that you are comfortable doing so. If anything causes strain or stress, then it's inappropriate for you at this time. Now see if you can, at the end of your next exhale, pause the breath ever so briefly. No work to be done. Just restful pausing of the breath, as many as 4 counts. And repeat that. In 4, out 8. Pause up to 4, but you could also pause 2 counts or even 1. You're going to repeat that. The practice is appropriate for you if you can use it while doing it and sense that you're moving deeper to restfulness. One more round. Now, in the next stage, I'm going to ask you to breathe in for 4, out for 10, and pause as many as 2 counts. It's okay if it takes a little while to build up to this ability and this duration. Just modify it in whatever way you can. Notice that it's taking us up to 12 seconds, 12 counts, to begin a new inhale. So this is something you might need to build up to. In 4, out 10, pause 2. Remember, the breath is contained as a diaphragmatic abdominal breath. The chest remains still. Please do a few more rounds. Okay, just foreshadowing the next stage is in for 4, out for 11, pause 1. Again, modify it if you need to. You might have noticed that each stage, again, is 12 seconds, but we're altering it in as much as the exhale is getting longer. In 4, out 11, pause 1. Sense it directing the mind and the body to restfulness. Restful awareness or deep sleep. A couple more rounds, please. Eyes closed. To shape the breath is to shape the mind. Now, in 4, out 12, no pause. Again, modify it if necessary. In 4, out for as many as 12 counts. Okay, there is one last stage, and that is to exhale for as long as you can. It could be 14 or 15 or even more. Sense yourself moving even deeper to the edge of the deepest rest or sleep. breath to become involuntary now. And relax your limbs, relax your joints. Feel the body opening to the earth with all of the touch points where your heels and calves, buttocks, hands, elbows, shoulder blades, and head, where all of these touch points rest into the floor, or on a bed, on your mat. And through those touch points, sense that each time you exhale, all tension, all thought drains away, drains out these touch points and is absorbed by the earth. As you continue this practice, you'll be led to the edge of sleep, to the edge of objectless awareness. Continue to abide here for as long as you can, as long as you like, to either slowly move back into the world and life, or into the deep nurturing of sleep.